Minutes. That's all it took for Tiffany Henyard to be out as the Democratic nominee for Thornton Township Supervisor, and she left here visibly upset.
New drama tonight involving a controversial politician in the south suburbs. Tiffany Henyard was the only Thornton Township leader to show up for a scheduled meeting.
It's hard to believe the drama surrounding Mayor Tiffany Henyard of Dalton, Illinois, could get any more explosive. But here we are. From allegations of misuse of public funds to accusations of voter suppression, fiery public meetings, and even eviction drama, Henyard has managed to keep the spotlight firmly on her. Whether you see her as a bold leader fighting against the odds or a controversial figure whose ambition has gone unchecked, one thing is clear. She's not backing down, and neither are her critics. Start with the latest bombshell. Henyard's defiance of a judge's orders and her open declaration that she doesn't care about the legal or procedural challenges she's facing. This is coming from a mayor who, despite mounting scandals, has somehow maintained her position and declared she's running for re-election. Yes, she's doubling down, and her confidence, or perhaps sheer bravado, has left many in the community stunned. But what's driving this chaos? Let's break it all down. Henyard's troubles escalated earlier this month when she was denied a spot on the ballot for the upcoming Thornton Township Supervisor election. The reason her slate of candidates wasn't complete: she didn't have a certified assessor on her ticket, which is a requirement for anyone running for the position. Predictably, Henyard didn't take the news quietly. During the caucus, she accused her political rivals, including Illinois State Senator Napoleon Harris, of rigging the process against her. In a fiery outburst, she called the entire process illegal and vowed to sue everyone involved. "You didn't run none of this the right way," she shouted, directing her ire at Harris, who also serves as the Democratic Party committee for Thornton Township. Illegal, Napoleon. Harris has rejected Henyard's accusations, maintaining that the caucus process was entirely legal. He explained that while caucuses may be unfamiliar to some residents of Thornton Township due to their infrequent use, they are a long-standing tradition in other townships across the state. Critics, however, contend that Harris deliberately chose the caucus system instead of a primary election to prevent Henyard's re-election. Henyard views the situation differently, suggesting that if her opponents believed they could defeat her, they would have opted for a primary. Instead, she criticized the process, questioning its fairness and accusing it of being exclusionary. The caucus, held in the Homewood Flossmoor Park District Auditorium, was marked by disorder. With only 600 seats available, many of Henyard's supporters, including those who arrived late on township buses, were left waiting outside in freezing weather. Henyard claims this was a calculated effort to suppress her voters, alleging that attendees were let in at a deliberately slow pace, while many remained outside in a long line that stretched around the block. After her loss, she voiced her frustration at a rally, describing the conditions her supporters endured. Henyard's boyfriend, Kamal Woods, also expressed anger, accusing a local reporter of misrepresenting the events and challenging her to report the truth. But Harris and his team have been quick to push back against these claims. His attorney, Burton Odelson, argued that the process was fair and followed the rules. "This is the process that's been going on way before me," Odelson said. "I'm just exercising my role as committee to hold a caucus." He also pointed out that the rules for the caucus were made available in advance. So Henyard's camp disputes this. Despite her loss, Henyard isn't giving up. She's already indicated that she plans to run as a write-in candidate, and her supporters believe she still has a shot. "I think enough people know her name to write her name in, and I believe we could still win it," said Keith Price, one of Henyard's allies. But with her name off the Democratic ballot for the first time in decades, it's clear she's facing an uphill battle. Meanwhile, Henyard's legal troubles don't end with the Thornton Township caucus. She's also embroiled in a messy eviction dispute with her landlord, who claims Henyard and Woods haven't paid their rent in months. According to the landlord, Henyard owes thousands of dollars in unpaid rent and has even changed the locks on the property to prevent her from accessing it. The landlord, who once considered herself a friend of Henyard, has now filed eviction papers, though attempts to serve them have so far been unsuccessful. "As mayor, you would think they would uphold positive citizen standards," the landlord said. "But instead, they just feel like they can do whatever they want." This eviction drama is just one of many scandals that have plagued Henyard's tenure. Earlier this year, the FBI launched an investigation into her administration, focusing on allegations of extravagant spending and misuse of public funds. Reports reveal that Henyard has spent tens of thousands of public dollars on questionable expenses, including luxury travel, lavish dinners, and even a concert that cost over $85,000. One particularly shocking discovery: Henyard reportedly spent over $43,000 on Amazon purchases in a single day. Critics have also taken issue with Henyard's leadership style, describing her as abrasive and dismissive of her colleagues. During a recent village board meeting, she declared, "I'm the leader they want to hear from the mayor, not the trustees that don't do nothing." Her fiery rhetoric has only deepened the divide within Dalton's government, with trustees openly challenging her authority and accusing her of mismanagement. "I feel as if I'm in a dictatorship," said trustee Brittany Norwood, who has been one of Henyard's most vocal critics. "The way she talks to the trustees, it's like being in a mentally abusive relationship." What's even more puzzling is Henyard's apparent disregard for the long-term consequences of such decisions. By appointing unqualified individuals like Burge, she's not only risking the effectiveness of the Dalton Police Department, but also exposing the town to potential legal liabilities. Imagine a scenario where the department mishandles a critical situation due to leadership that lacks the necessary qualifications. The fallout from such an event could be catastrophic, not just for Henyard's administration, but for Dalton's residents, who are already grappling with challenges like high crime rates and financial instability. "You are a clown. We will continue to speak out against wrongdoing. Why won't you step down?" This pattern of controversial appointments extends beyond Burge. Critics have pointed out that Henyard often selects individuals with questionable backgrounds or close personal ties, raising concerns about nepotism and favoritism. For example, former police chief Louis Lacey, another of Henyard's appointees, was recently indicted on charges of bankruptcy fraud. Lacey's financial misconduct and his ties to Henyard have only added fuel to the fire, with some accusing her of surrounding herself with allies who prioritize loyalty to her over their responsibilities to the public. These decisions have left many residents questioning whether Henyard is truly working in the town's best interest or simply consolidating power. Despite the mounting criticism, Henyard remains defiant. She's positioned herself as a victim of political attacks, claiming that her opponents are conspiring against her. "Why is all this attention on Tiffany Henyard?" she asked during a recent Facebook Live session. "What are they doing that they don't want us to know about while they're distracting us over here?" She's even hinted at launching a podcast to tell her side of the story, though no further details have been released. Fans and critics alike have weighed in on the drama. "Thought she was going to prison for stealing millions?" one commenter wrote, referencing the ongoing investigations into her financial dealings. Another fan expressed frustration with Henyard's leadership, saying, "Tiff has mental problems and needs to check. She is very unstable. Lord, please get her out that seat and stop giving her control." These comments reflect just how divided the community has become over Henyard's tenure. All this point the finger to Tiffany or allow me. "I'm over it, now it's time for me." But let's not forget the appointment of Ronald Burge as Dalton's interim police chief, a decision that has only added to the chaos. Burge, whose law enforcement certification is inactive, was appointed by Henyard despite warnings from the Illinois Law Enforcement Training and Standards Board. The board has made it clear that Burge cannot serve in any law enforcement capacity until he completes requalification. Yet Henyard has stood by her decision. Trustees have filed legal challenges to block Burge's appointment, calling it unlawful and a blatant disregard for proper governance. Henyard has described the criticism against her as a politically motivated effort to undermine her leadership. She characterized the backlash as an attempt to tarnish her reputation during a recent meeting. Critics, however, argue that her decision to appoint an unqualified police chief reflects a broader tendency to prioritize loyalty over competence. One trustee questioned the decision, highlighting concerns about the appointee's inability to carry a firearm and doubting their capacity to lead an entire department. This sentiment is echoed by many in Dalton as the town faces yet another leadership crisis. With legal battles accumulating, the FBI investigation ongoing, and public frustration growing, Henyard's future as both mayor and township supervisor appears increasingly uncertain. Despite these challenges, she remains resolute. At a recent rally, she expressed confidence in her support, insisting that her widespread popularity in Florence and Township fuels her perseverance. So, is Tiffany Henyard a misunderstood leader fighting against the corrupt system? Or is she a politician whose ambition has led her astray? With every new twist in this saga, Dalton residents and the rest of us are left wondering what's next. Will Henyard's resilience see her through, or will the weight of her controversies finally bring her down? So what do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. And if you don't want to miss out on the hottest celebrity news, make sure to subscribe to Daily Finder.